So, Hampton, thank you so much for sitting down with me, and also for your very well-attended talk in our gigantic ballroom here at the Palace Hotel. I just wanted to ping you on a few things now that we were able to convince you to sit down and chat with us. How do you see front-end development changing over the next few years?
I mean, definitely. So what we've seen is a massive growth in front-end development as a real first grade, first tier member of web development. Mm-hmm. So it's always kind of been designers and front-end engineers. They make the buttons hover works, and they hack through some CSS and make things happen. And but now it's actually becoming more and more a proper part of development. So we can do more and more things in the client side, and some tools like SAS are
Wait. You said what?
How do you not? I'm just dropping. I don't know about that, or less, whatever. No, we see these tools though coming out that are really making it so that front-end development's really, really powerful. And we're even seeing, obviously there's been a surge of kind of front-end frameworks, so JavaScript libraries that basically take a lot of what you're doing in the back end and move that to the front end. And then on the other side of that, we're definitely just seeing tools come out that when you're maybe not as technical as that really help you do cool things and make your users really, really happy, and address multiple devices. You see responsive design. It's just really, really powerful, really cool.
I was just curious. You mentioned about how web developers are now sort of first-class citizens along other developers. What implications does this have for tech companies today and the issues they're facing?
Well, I think it's not just tech companies. I think so. There's a lot of solutions for tech companies, and it's funny. Here in San Francisco, there's everybody's kind of in tech. But yet, what's happened is that businesses that are not traditionally thought of as being in technology are in technology because their customers, even their sales force. We see traditional businesses giving iPads out to their salespeople on the roads. Every company is now turning into a tech company, and I think the difficulty is for a lot of those companies, it's not in their DNA. So it's been very, very difficult for them to do things like hire really well, maintain a good technical workforce. Traditional businesses, a lot of times the most talented tech people, they want to come out here and work for a fun new startup, and they don't want to help salespeople on the road file their receipts. Right. But there's real value there, and I think businesses are trying to figure out when they can't get the world's greatest developer, how do they really deliver value? How do you deliver for your customers, deliver for your employees in an incredibly competitive market? It's just it's crazy what's going on right now with the demand for technical talent. It is just here in the Valley. I assume you guys know all about this. It is just it's considered being in a company a long time now at this point. If you've been there 9 months, yeah. It's a bizarro world that we've entered, and businesses are struggling with that very, very much.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's crazy right here. I wanted to ask you actually about responsive web design. Mm-hmm. So, good thing, bad thing?
Yeah, this is definitely a contentious subject here. I think there's something in the DNA of developers that we love getting religion, and I have some critiques of responsive web. I think it's a fantastic technique. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's nothing bad. Go ahead and use it. It's great. It's not. There's nothing evil or don't do it. It's just there's some downsides to it, and it's so funny. Here during my talk, somebody asked about responsive web design, so I explained some of my concerns. And number one, as I kind of wrote before, is the skill of developer required to do it. You really, really need to have a highly skilled team. If you're a small startup, that's totally doable. But larger businesses, it doesn't. You still have to rewrite stuff. There's still challenges. It's not. It's a great approach.
It's not a silver bullet.
It's not a silver bullet, and that's what I think. I always say it's a great technique. It's not necessarily a solution that's going to work for everybody. And I think, especially when you're looking at devices that aren't just different screen sizes, it's really it really is focusing on it's big or it's little. It's not necessarily focusing on whole different modes of interaction. I think, it's a great solution for today. I don't know in 10 years. I feel like the devices are just going to get more varied again. It's kind of, I feel like the universe always goes like more chaos, less chaos. And today, you know, if you basically build for modern web browsers, your world's pretty simple. I mean, I remember when I first started, we used to have to do whole different versions of the HTML for Netscape and IE, and yeah, that was, we'd FTP those files up to the server. It was fun. You know, and we just don't have that problem anymore. I mean, there's maybe a couple hacks for some older browsers, but you know, and even in, I remember early 2000s, just tons of customized CSS files for fixing weird IE bugs. And you know, even when IE is even being pretty decent, it will mostly work. You know that something's changed. But I think what we're going to see is that the traditional web browser, it's going to get challenged more and more by different interfaces. So, you know, and we see stuff like Google Glass. There's a lot of excitement around that. I don't know if that's going to work out or not, but you know, it doesn't matter. There are going to be more and more situations where we want to get the web, and it's not in something that even resembles a traditional web browser. So, I think responsive doesn't really have an answer for that. There's other ways around it. It's not a, but you know, I always I very much enjoy whenever I see somebody saying this is the one and true way. It's my hobby to challenge that, because I don't. If you ever find yourself saying that, you know, in 2 years you're going to regret saying that.
Okay, so what is it like to have developed such a popular library?
It's weird. So I remember actually this conference last year was the first time that. So SAS is 7 years old at this point. It's been around a long time. That's actually one of the reasons why there's a lot of developers.
If it was a child, it would already be drinking.
Yeah. In France. Yeah, so, you know, I came with the initial concept. There's been a team of developers, Nathan and Chris, who have they've spent the past 7 years working hard at it. I have not, so everybody should thank them, not me. But it's weird that, you know, a crazy idea I had, something that upset me that was just seemed wrong. Last year at the conference, I just walked into a couple random talks. I was working down the street and came to my talk and went to a couple after, and then both of them, the talks were not about SAS, but it was just assumed that it was part of it. They just started showing code.
Wow.
And I was like, what is going on here? Like, what? It was some bizarre universe where, like, the other thing, where everyone's been taken over by SAS aliens. And the other thing I found is a couple giant tech companies here in town that I did not know, who don't talk about this publicly, have, you know, internally completely converted.
Wow.
Yes, there's I believe LinkedIn has 100 people working every day writing SAS code.
Wow.
And a bunch of other big ones. So it's and that's just surreal to me. Yeah, it's just cool. I mean, I feel like I've stumbled into something, but you know, like whenever I see something and I'm like, this should exist. Like, this has gotta exist. I mean, I thought that back then. I was like, this is variables. I mean, that must exist. This is a thing, right? And then when you find out that the answer is no, you know you're onto something. Which actually, I mean, so you know, with Moovweb, which is basically a toolkit for making changes to the front, it allows you to kind of edit HTML and transform it. That was another thing where I'm like, okay, so all I want to do is take somebody's website and inject, you know, just one image, let's say, or just change one thing.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's the simplest thing in the world. And then at the time, I was working for the Wikimedia Foundation, and I could not find a piece of software that helped me do this. Like, it just didn't exist. And it was that same moment where I'm like, wait a second, this is so simple, and it seems so obvious to me that this should just be possible. I'm not even, you know, I had a particular need for it, but I didn't know, you know, when I first got with SAS, I wanted to nest some stuff and I wanted some variables. I had no idea people build these giant libraries and style guides that auto-format and all the mix-ins that we have now, and Compass and Bourbon and, you know, just huge libraries of amazing innovation. And, like, that wasn't the original idea, it was just a need. Yeah, so that's like my favorite kind of thing, is to find those things. And yeah, so anybody out there, if you ever think that to yourself, build it. It's a good idea. People will thank you later.
Wow, well, that's a great story. And thank you again for chatting with us, and thank you for speaking at HTML5 DevConf.
Thanks, man. Cheers.